Morning, Mr. K.
Yeah, good morning, Eric.
Today our topic regarding to the physics,
Yeah.
and our today topic is how electricity generation really works. So, have you studied this thing in maybe secondary school?
In my memory, no. Yeah,
Mm.
not at all.
Yeah. Then, do you know? I mean, sir, before watching this video, do you know how they generate electricity?
For this one, I only know that they use coal, they use like uh, maybe the fossil fuels, but
Mm.
I never imagined that actually they are using steam, right? They are boiling the water
Mm.
and then somehow they get the steam and then steam to push the turbines. Yeah,
Mm.
I really don't know.
Yeah. So in the past, we just I mean, me too. In the past, I think, oh, yeah, they burn the coal and they run, they build a solar panel factory. They use the um, they kind of like to to collect the wind energy, nuclear energy, all those things. But how do they really transport and convert and transport the energy
Mm.
to every one of us? For the transport part, I think this is more understandable because it's just like you plug the wire together and then let the electricity flow
Mm.
to every our house. And also we heard some people say that if they don't pay the electricity bill, and then the electricity company, the utility company will cut their supply
Mm.
by kind of
Yep.
like unplug the wire. And if you want to activate again, and then you need to pay some activation fee.
Mm.
Mm. And but why is the upstream? Do we really know how they generate electricity? How they convert all this kind of energy and then turns it into the electricity? You know, energy is different from electricity, right?
Mm. Yep.
But what is the difference?
Um, Energy. Uh, yeah, energy. For example, in the electricity today, which is like they say most of the electricity is generated from the heat energy, right? They transform heat into electricity.
Mm. So what's the difference between energy and electricity?
Uh, um, yeah, I think I couldn't answer, but electricity is like can be used to transform again into uh, other energy. It can also generate heat back.
Mm.
Yeah.
Then why is electricity?
Okay, electricity is kind of like you can imagine as like the gasoline. They are in a chemical form, and then you can do something to turn them into energy.
Then why is energy in this case?
Mm.
In the same case?
Energy, energy either providing heat or some kinetic one, which is like can push something to move. Yeah, this is what I what is in my mind.
Mm. Then why you say the like the gasolines
Mm.
is the electricity, but it is not an energy.
Because before you transform them into, like, let's say you burn them and then they generate heat, or maybe when they explode and maybe they push something. By that time, that is the energy. Before you really use them, then it is like store as a gasoline.
Store as a gasoline? Can you explain further?
Yeah, actually, I don't really understand. Yeah,
Just try to
mm,
explain, right? Mm.
yeah, to me, energy is like there is heat, there is like uh, a force of there is a force maybe pushing something. Uh, yeah, there is the mm, um, yeah, also like there is, for example, wind is pushing, then it's energy. Uh,
Mm.
maybe the wave from the ocean also is
Mm.
pushing. Uh, is also energy, and uh, when the solar panel receives the sunshine, the sunshine is generating heat. Is the heat already, so that is also energy.
Mm.
Yeah,
So this
and
energy, is it this energy or this is electricity?
to me this is energy,
Mm.
and then they kind of like transform it into electricity first, and then they can be transformed again to some other type of energy, so that we can use it.
So transform to electricity, and then so in this case, just now example, gasolines
Hmm.
fall under the energy category or fall under the electricity category.
To me, is electricity.
Why?
Because it is to be transformed into like heat, energy, the energy of heat, and
To
then
be transformed.
yeah,
And so electricity is to be transformed, is something to be transformed.
yeah. So that
Then
that
then
become
then
another energy we can use.
then why the wave, why the everything you mentioned just now, maybe a nuclear,
Hmm.
maybe the sunshine, whether it is also to be transformed to electricity.
Yeah. Firstly, they are energy, but then they are transformed into electricity, so we can keep them, not using them directly.
Then why then can you use a gasoline directly?
Use gasoline directly. Mm,
Then why is it not for the same case for the gasoline?
gasoline.
This is just like the solar panel. This is
Solar
this
panel.
I mean it's just like the solar energy. It stay in a liquid form, and when you burn it, it heat, and then it can burst the machines, burst the engines, so let your engine runs.
Yeah.
And you say this is something that to be ready to harvest. So it's electricity, but do your car use electricity? I mean traditional car.
Traditional car we do, but that is from a battery. That is not the
Mm.
primary.
Then
Uh,
do your battery drink gasoline?
drink gasoline? No.
Mm.
Yeah,
Then
they're not
why?
connected.
Then the battery, you everyone know that there's electricity inside the battery, right? Otherwise, it
Mm,
wouldn't call battery.
yeah.
Then then if you say gasoline is electricity, why it cannot charge the battery? Why we still need to change the electricity box for traditional car?
Mm, yeah, because they are in different form. Yeah, just now I say is electricity is just like
So do
mm,
you mean that electricity has different form? has some type?
No, I mean the way that we the way that we generate energy, we got a few chemical form. This is something like you can think potential one. Then battery is one, electricity. Oh, electricity is kept in battery, in some cases. And yeah, so they are like potential chemical forms which can be transferred into energy.
Transform into energy or transform into electricity?
Transfer.
You use the energy transform it to electricity for use. Then why you use the electricity transform it back to energy for what?
For delivery efficiency, because let's say you have the coal, you need to burn it, you can generate heat, but you couldn't directly use that. If you transfer it into electricity, then electricity can be used by our like home appliances, so we can use it.
But what we are using is electricity or energy. You turn on the light bulb, you turn on your air conditioner, you turn on your fan. Is this electricity or is this an energy?
Is the electricity make them work, and then when they make them work, actually there is energy. Let's say the light bulbs, electricity make I think it's the heat, or I'm not very sure. It's like electricity turn into heat, and then it make the light bulbs work.
Oh, I see. So for example, the fan is kind of like you use the electricity and charge it and let them run. And then when the fan run, inside there's a mechanic function inside, like the motor, and in like that's what we what we discussed in the the Monday video review 2 weeks before. So
something like an AC motor. I forgot already.
And then so let the motor runs, and then the motor run, for example, the fan. So it convert back to the kinetic energy. Do you mean that?
Yeah, kinetic is energy, but electricity is just like make them work. It's the potential one, but not the energy.
Yeah.
Am I right?
But how about if we just focus about the upstream?
Upstream.
Yeah.
Okay, how we generate them.
Yeah, how we generate them and turn them into electricity.
Yep. So for that we also need some potential chemical form to be transferred into energy. For example, coal is a material. It is a potential chemical form. It is not yet energy. When we burn them, it is burning. It creates heat. That is heat energy, and we transform that heat. Maybe that the heat also generate the steam, and then the steam is transformed into kinetic energy, turn the turbine move, and through that we somehow get electricity. Electricity is, but in my opinion, I think they are not energy. Yeah, and
okay, but and there's two examples. One is an electric car, EV. Can EV run? Of course, right?
Yeah.
So we can use electricity and make it run.
Yeah.
Can traditional car run? Can
Yes,
also, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we didn't use electricity to run them.
Yeah.
We use gasoline.
Yeah.
We use the oil and the petrol or the diesel. And we didn't. Electricity don't play any role here, but we still can make them move. So electricity can make the car run. In turn, it make the car run because it turns into the kinetic energy, okay? Or maybe make the motor runs, and the motor inside the motor start running, so it create kinetic energy, and then it links to the wheels, and then so your car can run, and something like that. And how about traditional car? Traditional car, we use a gasoline. Do you know how the engine work? I think we definitely learned in secondary school, right?
Maybe. I forgot already too.
It's yes, confirm we learned because yeah. And for petrol, it's kind of like you pump the petrol inside, and then you light the you like a little fire, and then so it burn all the petrol. So the engine stop pumping the air, and then go through everything, yeah, and then everything start running, and you pump out the carbon dioxide, carbon dioxide and the motor dioxide as a kind of like the byproduct.
Yeah.
And for diesel is kind of like they're using the compressions and keep compress the diesels and make it heat enough, and then it will also like fire up the diesels. Yeah. So this is how the engine work, and you convert the gasoline directly to the kinetic energy, a chemical energy directly to the kinetic energy. You didn't convert it to the electricity first, then convert to the kinetic energy, right?
Yeah.
So how can gasoline be electricity? You can use gasoline to charge your battery and use a battery to run an EV. You can do that, right?
Yeah.
But we don't do this because we can directly use a gasoline. And also how we transform the energy for our use, how we harvest them, and how do we use it? It depends on human intelligence. Yeah. For example, now I give you a bunch of gasolines. What can you use? What can you use it for? If you don't have car and you don't know how to build an engine, how can you use it?
Yeah,
you can just burn. You can just burn it and make it hit your body, right? But you can go to outside, and then you also can hit your body because we got sunlight. It's also an energy. You can burn the gasoline in the window. You can burn the coal in the window. It create heat energy, and you want the heat because you don't want to get breeze in the window.
Yeah.
And according to the thermodynamics, the first law is energy cannot be created and cannot be destroyed. energy cannot be energy cannot be created, or energy cannot be generated. We can we cannot kind of like we cannot generate energy, we cannot create energy. We can only transform one form of energy to another form. Yeah. And the second law of thermodynamics is about the entropy. Yeah, even though we have the first law, but we cannot 100% transform one type of energy to another type of energy. There are some losses, but the losses doesn't mean that the energy being destroyed, doesn't mean that the energy being disappeared. It just go into other energy we cannot harvest.
Yeah.
For example, you use electricity to run your air conditioner, aircon, and it create the cold, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it also create a heat. Yeah, at the motor. So the heat created by the aircon motor is the energy we cannot harvest.
Yeah.
So it's a waste. Yeah, because some of the electricity uses to transform to the heat energy, but not just focus on creating the cold air to you. Yeah. So for another example, computer, you run your PC or you run your phones. You charge your phone, you charge your computer, and when you play it, when you use it, it gets hot, it gets heat. That heat also a loss of energy.
Yep.
Yeah. And then when you are charging it through the wire, and then you also need to like if the distance is long enough, for example, maybe a few hundred miles, few thousand miles, and they'll have some loss between the transportation. And but it also apply on your phones. And our technology keep improving the efficiency rate. So how do we use a better charger? How do we use a better wire to charge faster? It's kind of like this. And also, even though you do this, there's also a loss between it. Maybe it is insignificant, you cannot notice. And another example, you charge your power bank, and then you fully charge, and then you put under your drawer. After some time, it also will lose the energy. You will lose the electricity inside the battery.
Yeah.
Like 2% per month. Yeah, or maybe even higher if you don't use it within like 1 month, and you found that the electricity all gone. So all this is kind of like the waste. So, but it doesn't mean that the energy gone. Yeah, and the battery, the electricity inside, maybe it transformed to another form, like maybe maybe like kind of like the weak nuclear force, or kind of like, I forget the terms. It kind of like the forces we use in the telecommunication is kind of like the Wi-Fi. Yeah. Your phone signal is like that, or the radio. Is it called ultrasound or something like that? I just forget the terms. Yeah. And so if you try to understand the energy and electricity,
in
my limited understanding is electricity is a subset of energy. And we convert to energy because first we can transport it easier. We can like build a grid and then deliver the electricity to every of us. And then the second is electricity can make a motor run, and it's a kind of like a standardized form to make the machine run. So we don't need to build a turbine. So we don't need to build a turbine inside every our device. We don't need to build turbines inside our phones. We don't need to build turbines inside maybe our computer, our air conditioner. Yeah, air conditioner got a fan, but the fan is not the turbines. It's using to release a heat. Your computer also got a fan. It's not used. It's not turbine. It is used to cool your the motherboard. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's kind of like energy. We convert energy to electricity to make it standardized. And standardized is so important so that we can build all our infrastructure on this standardized basis.
Yep.
Yeah. And so this is why the motto is it's kind of like, you can say, one of the greatest innovations, because it allows us to harvest the energy that we transfer from the energy.
Yep.
And energy cannot be created, cannot be destroyed. And try to imagine where the energy comes from. Can energy really created? Can energy really generated? The answer is no, because all our energy comes from the sun. We got the sun, and we got like kind of like the gravity. So all of these things is a forces. It's a fundamental forces. I mean, the sun is a nuclear. It's a nuclear forces. It's a weak nuclear and also plus and also pass the strong nuclear force, and we harvest the strong nuclear force that's come from the sun. And who create the sun? No. And this is the mystery. This is a universe theory.
Yeah.
And astrologists, they think that we have a Big Bang. So, and they think that the universe is keep expanding. And all of the planet is kind of like being quote unquote created by the Big Bang. But the Big Bang must have the energy to allow it to release all this energy, and then allow it to make it able to form the sun. So you can see the universe. There's much more energy in universe, and there's very much. There's really much energy in the galaxy or in our solar system. And yeah, there's also so much energy in the earth. how can we say we run out of energy? What we run out is we don't have methods to harvest those energy. We don't have an efficient, we don't have an economic energy, economic methods to harvest those energy. And I forget this kind of, maybe it's from one of the fictions, or maybe from one of the philosophers. I'm not sure. Maybe the technologies, maybe the astrologies, or the scientists. They say that he or she say that, like the first civilization is kind of like human able to harvest all the energy come from it's kind of like come from the solar system, come from our is come from our Earth. Come from the sun. Yeah, come from the sun. So it's kind of like the king of, or the kind of like because the sun provide all the energy in solar system. So the sun is kind of like the core in this solar system. And without the sun, and all of our planet would just being affected, and mostly the Earth, because they are living thing on in the Earth, so all the living things die. So without the sun, all the planet would just kind of like stop functioning, because the sun has a gravity, and it attracts all the orbits, and then make them do the, in Chinese is called the 公转. So make area of the planet around the sun. Yeah. And the first civilization is we can directly harvest 100% of energy from the sun. So maybe we build a very, very big machine outside the Earth, and then directly face to the sun, and then we receive all of the heat, all of the kind of like the radioactive, the ultraviolet, yeah, this kind of energy, and then we directly receive it, and we can transform it to another energy for our use, or transform it into the electricity to run the motor. This is the first civilization. We directly harvest the energy from the sun.
Yeah.
If we don't harvest, it's also gonna be wasted. Yeah, because the energy cannot be created, cannot be generated, cannot be destroyed. Yeah. If we can harvest them, we can harvest the sun, the energy come from the sun, we can use this properly. And also, like, if you look at a few thousand years ago, and even though I give you a punch, if I give you a batch of the gasoline, I give you a batch of crude oil, you don't know how to use it. You just think this is something like, there's a negative externality, there's a negative utility to you, because this is dirty, hard to clean, and you have no other usage, and it's dangerous. Yeah. If you accidentally like it, and it will burn, it will have the explosion. Somehow, and human figure out how to harvest it, and turn this black and dirty things, stuff, into a black oil, into a black gold, Yeah. So go back to the first civilization, and we can harvest the energy directly from the sun. Yeah, we can harvest 100% of the energy, and of course, maybe in the conversion we still will lose some.
Yeah.
But never mind. Yeah, but at least we have the methods to have it at a very, very large scale. So we can harvest all the sun that comes to on the earth. Yeah, this is very, very difficult, but this is the first civilization, and all the thing we done on the planet is just like play toys. Yeah, doing some the kind of like the hydroelectric, doing like the nuclear, the wind. All of this is just inefficient form of energy because it's come from the gravity, come from the sun. At the first principle, at the first hand is sun create all these things. Yeah, without the sun, without the gravity of the sun, we don't have the wave, we don't have the ocean wave. Yeah, and then the second civilization that human can have is harvest the energy from all other planets in the solar system. So this is huge. Yeah, because you can harvest the energy from I forget the planet is called the I think it's called the Muxing. Yeah, there's so much energy in the planets. Yeah. This is called the Jupiter. There's so much energy in the Jupiter. If we can, and Jupiter is so huge. If we can harvest this, the energy come from it really not much really not much less than the energy we can have from the sun. Yeah. And the third civilization is we can harvest the energy from our galaxy. And this is so huge we can't imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you know that all our energy is come from the sun, and then you will know that energy cannot be created, energy cannot be generated. What if the sun stops shining? How do you generate energy? Eventually you run out of your quote-unquote batteries. You run out all of your resources. You run out all the resources that chemical form, like into chemical form, like gasoline, like other animals, their fats, because you can burn their fats, like the whale fats. In the past, they used the whale fats to run the motor, to run the engines, to light the light bulb.
Yeah.
After that, they find out gasoline, they find out the crude oil can do the same thing, so they don't kill the whale anymore. Yeah, and yeah, so but all these things is accumulated in the earth, and this is initially converted from the sun energy. Converted from the sun energy, and it buried under the ground. We just extract it out from the ground and then use it.
Yeah.
But the energy eventually, initially, it still come from the sun. Yeah. So does it make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is my limited understanding.
So your question just now, like gasoline, they are also form of energy, right? Because we couldn't create, they are just in other forms.
And if you don't know how to convert it into electricity, if you don't know how to use it, you don't have the knowledge, you don't know how to link it to your problem, you don't know how to use it to solve your problem. It's just a dirty black stuff to you, and it's a dangerous thing to you.
Yeah.
And electricity, if you don't know how to use it, it's also dangerous because it can cause you die. It can kill you. But if you know how to use it, it create abundance. It create life. It create prosperity. Yeah. So to summary, I think electricity is a subset of the energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we harvest energy, and then humans kind of so clever, they find out a way to using the turbines to turn one form of energy into another form.
Yeah.
For example, heat energy, and heat energy is so is so crucial, it's so important, and because we can use it to turn the turbines. Yeah, of course, you can use other like the wind of those things. Yeah, but just like in the video say, most of because heat energy is more kind of like more easier to do the stuff, to turn the turbines.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you want to turn the coil into the wind energy, how do you do it? No, it's very difficult. But you can turn it into the heat energy, and heat will flow. It's kind of like this is like the basic sign. We know that the heat will kind of like go up, right? Kind of like going up. And then if you only have the pipe, the heat will try to go through the whole pipe, and then it will eventually go through the turbines, and then it will make turbine run. And also we can use the water to turn the turbines. But how can you burn the coil? How can you burn the crude oil? How can you burn the gasoline and then make it create to the water, and then let the water go through through the turbines? So it doesn't make sense. So
Yeah.
we try to find a way to turn the turbine. And because kind of like this kind of irrenewable energy is more easier to extract. It's more easier to harvest because it didn't restrict us in location, and our human civilization is really largely depend on this kind of energy, at least in the first centuries. Yeah. So no questions. There's no question. This harvesting methods of energy is a major one. It's take the major portion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So turn the turbine, and then the turbine runs, and then the turbines move the generator, and then the generator. At this part, I stop at here because I don't really understand how it really can make it become kind of like something that we cannot see, but something we know it exists, and it can go through the whole wire, and when we touch it, we will kind of like get shocked. Yeah, which is electricity, and kind of like the lightning, the thunder, the lightning. I think maybe it regarding to kind of like the electro magnetics, the theory inside. Okay, I'm not very sure. Yeah, but human managed to do that. Yeah, and most of us don't know it. But it just work, and work damn well. Yeah, and so we got the electricity, and then we got the pipeline. Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, or actually, there's other way to transfer the energy. You not necessarily need to convert to electricity first. You can send the natural gas. you can build a pipeline. For example, the pipeline, it kind of like the Europe of the the Europe country have a huge pipeline linked to the Russia. This is also one of the things I learned recently.
Yeah.
And Europe depend on Russia energy. What's the energy is called natural gas. Yeah. And Russia exports so much energy to the Europe country. So because of this war, we can expect the energy price goes up very, very significantly. Yeah, it affect every country, every common man around the world, not only the Europe, not only the Ukraine. So come back to our topic. And one thing I want to add in is, do you see the second link?
Second link is the words, right? The words found.
Yeah, the comment I found under this video. Yeah, and after reading the comments, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, it basically explains how difficult to kind of like we have a term which is inertia, right, in the video. Yeah, they want to get kind of like the right timing of the electricity. So, and even though we are so advanced now, we can say how we use the electricity wisely. Yeah, but you see, we still need maybe like few minutes or maybe a couple of hours to make this thing, right? Sometimes when there is like the stop of supply of the electricity, then when we want to make them run again, maybe we need like a few hours to do that.
Yeah. When they shut down the electricity generator, or they turn off the grid, the electricity grid, and then when they want to link it together, when they want to deliver the electricity again, and they need to do some cleaning job to ensure inside the motor, inside the grid, there's no some gas, because it can exploit. It can export. Yeah, when there's explosions, and so it just make the thing worse. And one there are a few big there are a few big takeaway from this comment, and one of it is, this is how and this is why the solar, the winds cannot work properly, cannot kind of like quote unquote save the planet at this current moment. Because this kind of energy you cannot control. It's not consistent, unlike the nuclear. Sometimes the sun shine strong, and you got so much energy, and it creates so much heat. But there is no demand for all of these energy, and they are forced to shut down. They are forced to turn down. Otherwise, all their equipment will kind of like get damaged. Yeah, but if there is a huge demand, it's not a problem. And of course, they can build a big battery to store the electricity. They can do that. And also the same as the wind, is also not stable, not consistent. Sometimes it's huge, and when it's too huge, the wind is too huge, you cannot harvest properly. And when there's no enough demand, the energy just get wasted, or you are forced to shut down, or you are forced to do some other thing to let the energy release. Yeah.
Yep.
And yeah, so this is the first takeaway. And the second takeaway is regarding to Bitcoin. Actually, I learned that Bitcoin mining can actually help, can actually kind of like reduce the problem, can kind of like the subsolve this kind of problem. But actually, I heard it from the Bitcoin community, but I'm not really sure, because the first thing I'm not an expert, and I don't know whether they are telling the truth.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much useful is it, because you see, you can turn off, you can turn on, and it's the cost of every time you reactivate is not huge. Then it makes no sense. It make less sense, even though the kind of like the Bitcoin mining can help it, right? But since we and also they may have some bias here. So I very appreciate to kind of like get some information from a non-Bitcoin community, and kind of like the real
expert.
Yeah, and the real electrical engineer, and like the physics video, and to really understand this. And there's no bias here, because they have no idea. Yeah, their video, they are not discussing about Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So kind of like validate, kind of like confirm this information. And yeah, so actually it makes sense. Yeah, and Bitcoin mining really kind of like can help in this process. And also there's other thing, which is, if you kind of like using the solar, you're using the wind, and even though you are using kind of like the irrenewable the energy, the energy company, okay, and then you need to build extra infrastructure to spare it, because they will have a peak demand, but the peak demand maybe just occurs 1 or 2 days in a year. But you have to fulfill the peak demand. You cannot let everyone don't have the electricity to use. You need to prepare the infrastructure. You need to prepare the margin of safety, and there is always ready to use when the demand suddenly increase. Maybe a day is maybe the sunshine stronger, and then everyone turn on their air conditioner at the same time.
Yeah.
So you need to prepare that. Or maybe another simple example is, for example, maybe in the night, or maybe in the afternoons, or in the noons, people turn on the air conditioner, and so there's a peak demand there. But at the night, maybe in some country there's a winter. Yeah, or maybe in some other country it's cool, they don't need to turn on the air conditioner, so there's no much demand. But in the day, you have an hour, or you have a half of 30 seconds, a 30 minutes, which has a peak demand, and you have to fulfill that. You cannot make them like the 30 minutes in a day cannot use electricity. You cannot do that. It's regulated by the government. And yeah, so you need to prepare more. And you prepare more, that means you have you build an infrastructure that you don't use oftenly, you don't use frequently, and it's just a waste. It's also a waste. Yeah. But when Bitcoin mining comes in, and they can say, okay, I can use all of this energy.
Yeah, kind of like fully utilized, right?
Yeah, and when there is a peak demand, I can shut down. I can shut down my my mining machine, my mining equipment, and let you fulfill all the all the consumer demand first. Yeah. And after it come back to normal, the demand come back to normal, and then I will turn it on and you replug it, and I run my Bitcoin mining equipment. And but to do that, you have to give me a very, very cheap electricity price. And will the energy company willing to do that? Sure, this is an extra profit, extra revenue. Yeah. So Bitcoin mining facilitates all these things, and Bitcoin mining kind of like push the renewable energy, move the renewable energy to a step. Yeah, move a big step. And because you see which type of energy, think economically, which type of energy you can get a cheaper price. In the case we discussed just now, is it coal? Is it natural gas? Is it a kind of like they burn the gasoline? Is it maybe nuclear? But nuclear is very, very cheap. But when we talk about some those kind of like irrenewable and those unfriendly energy, and they can store their energy in a physical form. Yeah. But how about solar? How about wind? How about hydroelectric? If they cannot find a buyer for the extra energy, then it's just wasted. So the cost must be low, because no one and no company will take their energy. No consumer, no group of consumer are able to take those huge energy, except Bitcoin miner. And they can build their mining warehouse near to your energy factories. Unlike the consumer, they cannot build their house near to your energy factories. Unlike some other companies, the manufacturers, they cannot build their the factories, manufacturing factories near to the energy factories. Only Bitcoin miner can. Yeah. So I think to summary this for this kind of Bitcoin mining, kind of like debunking the Bitcoin mining use too much energy. There's 2 points. First, we haven't reached the first civilization. There's so much energy, and energy cannot be created, cannot be generated, cannot be destroyed. How can you say we use too much energy? No point. You don't understand physics. You don't understand the world. Yeah. There's so much energy. Ocean wave is an energy. You just don't know how to harvest them. If you know how to harvest them, you will not say that energy is not enough. Yeah. The sunshine everywhere. If you know how to harvest the sunshine, you will not say we have no enough energy. And how about the environment? If you know a better way to harvest the energy, you wouldn't say it hurt the environment. And all of this need progress. You cannot jump a big step, directly go to the first civilization, second civilization. It need progress. It need technological breakthrough. Yeah. And who make all of this? Who tried and who use the energy who use the energy in wrong directions? maybe you can say the fiat system. Maybe you can say some company that didn't provide value. They use the loans to support their living. And when they cannot get the free loans, the new freshly loan, they will just go bankrupt. Those are the zombie company. And you can see, and also including a lot of small company, SME company. Do you think they really provide the value? I will say yes, but not much.
Yeah.
Because of their utility, of their value is already provided by the big company. But also there's another concern here. We don't want the monopoly or this kind of thing. Yeah, but to make the point is, I would like to say is energy is not a discussion. Shouldn't be a discussion. And if you want to talk about the inefficiency, the waste of the energy, the environmental factors, you have so many things to say. Yeah. And Bitcoin just use like around 1% of the world and the world energy consumption. You can say, yeah, it's greater than a country. But every industry, the energy consumption of every important industry sure will greater than a country.
Yep.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, I think we look at the value.
And even
sorry, continue.
Yeah, and this statistic, which is the computer game, the energy consumption or electricity consumption of a computer game is greater than Bitcoin mining.
Yeah, it's
why
not hard to imagine, right?
Yeah,
so many people play games.
Yeah, why no people criticize computer game?
Yeah.
And how much value it created? You can say, oh, it create fun, yeah, create joy, yeah, right. But I mean here, what I want to say is energy shouldn't be a discussion here.
Yeah.
And there's a progress. And look at any other industry. Which one industry has a potential to push the renewable energy progress? Not much, really not much of them. But Bitcoin mining is one of the industry because they are searching the cheapest form of the energy, and they can build their warehouse near to the energy source. Yeah, they are so flexible.
Yeah, no location problem and no time issues, right? They can choose time to do that.
Yeah. And yeah, so the first is we are still not in the first civilization. And when we reach the first civilization, and you know that how ridiculous talking about energy is not enough. And then the second point is Bitcoin push the renewable energy progress, but not much of the industry are able to do that. Yeah.
Yep.
So I think for this the second biggest takeaway have kind of like clarified some of my thinking about the Bitcoin mining.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you have anything on the add in?
Yeah, I think no.
Okay, so yeah, talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, talk to you tomorrow. Goodbye.
Goodbye.